I really think that black bear hunting is really underrated in this country. Hi, I'm Peyton with Shoshone Adventure Consulting, and welcome to part 3 of our ongoing seminar series. This time we're focusing on one of my favorite big game animals in North America, the black bear. There are so many great, affordable opportunities for bear hunting across the range of the black bear, all the way from Alaska to Newfoundland and down to places like New Mexico and Arizona. Black bear hunts offers some of the best bang for your buck, cast and blast experiences that you can have hunting. I grew up in Alaska, so I was fortunate enough to grow up hunting black bear. I shot my first black bear when I was in the 8th grade, and it happened to be a big 7'2" squared cinnamon bear that I shot in interior Alaska. So I was kind of spoiled from the start. And over the years, well, my kids have been spoiled. Our oldest boys shot their first black bears when they were 9 and 10 years old. They shot some pretty nice ones their first couple of bears, but then they went on to shoot some giants, bears over 20 inches skull size, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But we've been really spoiled with black bears. Black bear hunting is a lot of fun, and it's often really underrated, but it's also one of the most affordable hunts that you can do in North America. Shoshone works with outfitters across the black bears range, all the way from Alaska to Newfoundland and down into the lower 48. And there's several different ways you can hunt bears, and we're going to talk all about those and the different price ranges. The most popular way to hunt black bears is by baiting. Now, baiting gets kind of a bad rap, and I don't agree with it. A lot of people agree with baiting deer or baiting other animals, but they don't like the idea of baiting a black bear, and I don't understand why. People have been baiting animals since the dawn of man, and the black bears are really no different. And in some of the places where black bears can be found, really the only way to get close to them is by baiting them. They live in these tight boreal forests that you're not going to see them unless you bring them into a bear bait. I grew up baiting bears in Alaska, and we book a lot of baited hunts in Canada. There's a lot of pros to going on a baited black bear hunt. First of all, the price. Baited black bear hunts can range anywhere from $3,000 up to about $6,000. They're very affordable. The second reason why they're so popular is because you can combine black bear baited hunts often with fishing. We call them cast and blast hunts. In Canada especially, you can go on a baited black bear hunt. You hunt in the evening, but you can fish all day long. It makes for a great bang for your buck experience that we like to advertise to our clients because they get the most out of their experience. Black bear baiting affords you the opportunity to get up close and personal with bears. A lot of people that have been on a baited black bear hunt have never seen a bear before. And when you're sitting on a black bear bait and those bears start coming in, it allows you to check the bears out, to watch them, watch their behavior. And more importantly, it allows you to do 3 things. One, it allows you to really pick out a mature boar from a sow, because oftentimes you have time to watch and observe the bears. And there are a lot of differences between boars and sows. Most places you just want to take mature boars. And at a bait, you have time to watch them to make sure that you're shooting a boar instead of a sow. There could be cubs nearby. It allows time for the cubs to come in, things like that. The second thing is size. When you're hunting over a black bear bait, oftentimes you're afforded the opportunity to watch a bear to make sure it's big enough.
We're recording. Down right there? He's down right there. It's about midnight. We just shot a really nice bear. There's a sow in the tree right behind us.
Like 20 yards.
Getting all kinds of upset. There's a big boar down. He died within sight of the blind. No tracking job here. That's the way I like it.
Let me tell you something. There is no ground shrinkage bigger than a black bear. You think that you've shot this big monster black bear. It's walking into the bait, you shoot it, and the closer you get to it, the smaller it gets. And before you know it, you're walking up to a small animal. Ground shrinkage is it's very common in black bear hunts. But if you're hunting over bait, oftentimes it allows you to watch the bear to make sure that you're shooting a good sized bear. And there's a lot of different ways to judge bears, and your guide can go over those with you, whether they're sitting with you or not on a baited hunt, but it gives you the time to make sure that you're shooting a big bear. The third thing is shot placement. If you're hunting black bears over a bait, you often have time to make sure that the bear is in a perfect position for a shot. If you're bow hunting, it's broadside, it's quartering away. Same thing if you're rifle hunting. You're not rushed. You have time to make a good shot most of the time. It's not always the case. That is why black bear baited hunts offer such a good opportunity for first-time hunters. My wife shot her first big game animal. It was a black bear over a bait. Like I already mentioned, a couple of our kids, their first big game animals were black bears over bait. Because they're sitting with you, they have time to relax when the bear comes in, it's feeding, they have time to wait for a great shot. And it provides for a, I don't want to say non-stressful, but a less stressful situation than, say, a running shot at a deer or shooting a whitetail 300 yards away or something like that. These black bear baited hunts are great hunts for first timers. I can't stress that enough. And we book a lot of hunts for families taking their kids, a lot of father-son, father-daughter hunts, a lot of husband-wife hunts, because they can sit together. It's a fun experience. It's just not stressful. So for those of you that have thought about going on a black bear hunt, but you're leery of hunting over a bait because you really don't think it's hunting, or you think it's an unfair advantage, it's really not. It's really an effective way to hunt bears, to make sure that you shoot a boar, a good-sized boar, and that your shot placement is spot on. One of the other popular hunts that we put clients on that don't want to do a baited hunt are spot and stalk hunts. Now, those can range anywhere from the coastal regions of British Columbia down into Colorado. The coastal hunts in British Columbia, they can be a little expensive. They can be anywhere between that $6,000, $7,000 and $10,000 range. You're mostly hunting clear cuts and logging areas, and you're driving around, you're spotting bears from the truck in these huge big logging slashes and spotting them and stalking them from there, or you're walking logging roads. You might even be hunting from a boat, like in coastal Alaska, or even in British Columbia, where you're glassing bears along the beach, beaching the boat, and then stalking the bears. Again, these are more expensive hunts, but for folks that have maybe hunted black bears off a bait or really don't want the baiting experience, these spot and stalk hunts in Alaska and British Columbia, they might just be your ticket, although they are a bit more expensive. They offer a hunt. Usually the bears are a lot bigger. They're eating fish, so their diet is a lot different than bears, say, in interior Alaska or interior Canada. So you have the opportunity to shoot a really big bear, spot and stalk, and it's a lot of fun. Down in Colorado and places like that, you can also do spot and stalk hunts. You're glassing hillsides, and the opportunity to shoot bears is really high, but you're probably gonna not shoot bears as big as the ones that you're gonna shoot on a spot and stalk hunt in, say, in coastal British Columbia or up in Alaska. Another popular way that people hunt bears, especially down in the lower 48, is with hounds, where you're going to catch tracks of a bear. You might be baiting a bear and then catch the track from there, but you're going to be catching tracks much like a mountain lion hunt, and the dogs are going to take off and they're going to tree the bear. Again, this often affords the hunter the opportunity, when they get the bear treed, to make sure that it's hopefully a boar. They can watch it up in the tree, and that it's a good sized bear. Generally, the bear is going to stay up in the tree for a bit when you get there, and it affords you the opportunity to look at the bear to make sure that it's a mature bear, that you're not shooting a small one. A lot of folks that like to do the bear hunts down in the lower 48 over dogs, they've already hunted baited hunts. Maybe they've done a spot and stalk hunt, and they just want to do something different. They're also very affordable, very akin to the price of a baited black bear hunt in Canada. You can generally do those between $4,000 and $6,000, and you can have a great hunt, and it's a lot of fun. Another place that you can hunt black bear that is probably one of the best bang for your buck hunts is a place like Newfoundland, where you can combine black bear hunts with a moose hunt. Black bears are very plentiful in Newfoundland, and most black bear hunts can be added on to a moose hunt in Newfoundland for $1,500 to $2,500. It's really not very much. And chances are when you're out moose hunting in Newfoundland, you're gonna see a black bear and you can take them incidentally to that hunt. Black bears in general are not hard to kill. And what I mean by that is they're a very thin-skinned animal. So when it comes to what weapons that you're gonna use when you're black bear hunting, you really just need to use whatever you're comfortable using for most of your other hunts. If you're gonna be bow hunting black bear, the same setup that you use for whitetail or for deer will work just fine on a black bear. Like I said, they're pretty thin-skinned, so shot placement and a sharp broadhead is the key, really just like anything else. If you put a sharp broadhead behind the shoulder of a black bear, it will zip through it like warm butter. I have shot a lot of black bears with a bow, and I've been with a lot of people that have hunted black bears with a bow. I used to be part of a big bear baiting operation in Alaska. We had a lot of archery hunters. And we would tell all of them, hunting black bear is not like hunting a deer. They will not jump the string. Just put it halfway up the body, right behind the shoulder, the arrow will zip through it, double long hit, and they will drop within seconds, and more than likely, you'll hear the bear moaning, which is a surefire sign that you've made a good shot. Rifles are the same way. They're very thin-skinned. A good shot behind the shoulder or on the point of the shoulder with a good solid bullet, one that you trust, one that you hunt deer with or elk with or antelope with, will work on a black bear, especially on a baited hunt. Most black bear hunts, outfitters are gonna try to get you in close. There's no reason to take a far shot. This, most of the time, is not a long-range shooting game when it comes to black bear. So anything that you feel comfortable with, and always check your local game laws to make sure what you're using is legal, is going to kill a black bear just fine. I'd like to take a minute to talk about scoring a black bear. When you hear about black bear sizes, you often hear black bears referred to by square footage or their skull size. So Boone and Crockett and Pope and Young measure bears for the record book by their skull, not by their hide. To put it simply, it's the distance between the tip of the nose and the back of the skull, measured with calipers, and the widest distance on the side of a head, again measured with calipers. You add them together, and that's your score. The square footage on a bear is what a lot of people refer to when, well, they talk about how big their bear was. And let me tell you, bear stories are like fishing stories. They get longer and longer the more you stretch that fish or stretch a bear hide. But to get the true square footage of a bear, you measure from the tip of the nose down to the tip of the hair on the tail and across to the widest point on the front claws. You add those measurements together and divide by 2, but you can't cheat and stretch it. So up in Alaska, for example, or British Columbia and some of these coastal bears, the magic number that you hear people talk about is a 7-foot square bear or a 20-inch skull. I've been lucky enough to be in on a lot of black bear kills. My largest black bear that I've ever shot squared 7'2", but it didn't have a big skull. It was a little over 18 inches when you measure that front to side. The largest skull-sized black bear I've ever shot was 20 3/8, but the hide only squared about 6'8". It's kind of weird how genetic works. Both of my oldest boys, they've been lucky enough to shoot bears that were also over 20 inches when you measure the skull. But again, the hides were just a hair under 7 foot squared because we don't cheat and stretch them. But that's how you score a black bear. And when you hear about skull size and square footage, that's what people are referring to. At Shoshone Adventure Consulting, we can set you up with a black bear hunt all the way from Alaska to Newfoundland, down into the United States, across all price ranges, any hunt that will meet your expectations for what you want out of your bear hunt. Whether it's a cast and blast hunt with black bear baiting and awesome pike or walleye fishing, or hunting black bears in Alaska in the springtime when the salmon are running, or adding it onto a moose hunt in Newfoundland, we can make it happen for you. We have years of experience booking bear hunts. Give us a call. I'd be happy to speak with you.